Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. And today, we're being joined by Schuyler Morgan, author of Too Busy to Love, Too Tired to Care, The Unintended Consequences from Our Love Affairs with Our Smart Devices and Living in a World of AI. Schuyler, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. This is indeed a pleasure to have a conversation with you today, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we are thrilled to have you. Are you ready to begin?
I am.
All right. Question number one. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
Well, what I would say to them is recognize that writing a book is just part of the book publishing business. And so I would say that for first-time authors, it's very important that you become aware of the fact that you are building a book publishing business for yourself. And that means that you are really building a story brand. And with that story brand, you are now the main brand ambassador for the success of your book. And you are now the CEO of your own book publishing business. So what that means is for you to make sure you understand what that business is today. It's not that you just take a book, turn in a manuscript, and magic happens. No, you're responsible for all the marketing, building your brand, recognizing who your audience is, doing the due diligence, who are your competitors in the book that you're writing, kind of genre that you're writing, what's going to make your story distinctive, how are you going to stand out in a very crowded market of book publishing, and particularly in your genre, and then understand what do you need to do to make sure that you're outstanding. And with that comes the opportunity for you to really benefit from what other authors have done and have a chance to learn about what's new today in the book publishing business. And for that, I suggest that you really make sure that you set aside time to not only listen to this podcast today, but make sure you listen to other podcasts that are on that are available to you through Paul Brodie's podcast. There's a wealth of information there that you can learn from. Another alternative is to go to Author Learning Center and take the opportunity to sign up for their very affordable webinars that they have with very qualified speakers, and they do a good job with that. And I think that you might also want to consider looking into how to get support from a writer's coach that can help you not only develop your story and get it positioned correctly for the market and make it something that will be attractive to future publishers, or for your own book publishing of your book. What are the things that you can do to prepare yourself, particularly in this new world that is post-corona? What are the insights that you're going to hear from the experts that can help support you on your success?
And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
Well, I think right now the hardest part is adapting to post-corona. Who knows what changes are going on out there for the individual writer themselves. If they are having to work from home and they have children and they have to do home teaching and try to make time for your life and your family, how do you make sure that you're able to set boundaries so that you're able to stay focused and able to do the due diligence, and you can have the support team and the discipline that you need for adapting to this new world, this new normal that we're getting into. So I think that it's really important to make sure that you stay adaptable, stay agile, hang on to your dream, stay focused on that dream, and maybe allow yourself to be vulnerable to this change and to really get the support from a really qualified book writing coach. I think they're one of the best things for you to have as the first member of your support team as you go forward.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that has worked well.
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. I think what's important is to make sure that you understand your personality and what works best for you. And I think I'll give you an example. For me, my strengths are not in technology. My strengths are in one-to-one human relationships. I have done that in all of my professional life, in my personal life. I am an observer of human nature. I've worked in healthcare, so I had one-on-one opportunities to learn about a diverse group of people, understanding what's going on in the world, so I can really listen to what they want to hear in our messages, not just listen to our messages, so that I'm better able to provide them the opportunity to get that information in many different aspects. So marketing comes out in many different forms, as we've seen, through technology, through speaking engagements, through one-on-one conversations. For me, speaking and the one-on-one conversations and living and being what I'm saying in my book has been the strongest opportunities for me to market my book. Because when people listen to "Are you too busy to love, too tired to care?" that message everybody identifies with in all age groups, and it just opens up conversations, and they want more and say, "I gotta have it." So what you want to do is make sure that your title for your book too is a grabber, and you can go out and see what other books in that same genre are. What are you going to do differently that's going to grab those people and it's going to make them say, "Yep, I got to buy this book, I got to read this book, and I got to contact this author, and I want more." And that's where then, as you build up other opportunities to market your book through live webinars, whether it's through documentaries, whether it's through docuseries, whatever it is, you have got them to say, "Gotta have it. I got to not only buy the book, but I got to invest in other aspects of this author's business because I like what they have to say, and I need that in my life right now, particularly post-corona."
Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
My favorite book is Conversational Intelligence: How Great Leaders Build Trust and Get Extraordinary Results, written by Judith E. Glaser. And the reason I like that book so much, it has completely changed my life and brought me great joy. And that's because what I learned from reading this book, and also I studied with her for 2 years and became certified in conversational intelligence, because conversations are not just a way of sharing information. They actually trigger physical and emotional changes in our brain that either open you up to having healthy, trusting conversation, or they might close you down so that you speak from fear or caution or worry. And right now, we need to have the opportunity to find people we can trust. People today do not trust their own judgment because they've relied so much on their technology. They don't know who to trust outside of that. And so for that reason, mastering the art and the skills of conversational intelligence leverages all other kinds of individual intelligence, like emotional intelligence, social intelligence, because if you don't understand how to create conversations that can make people want to listen to you and build relationships with you and to trust you, there is neither a more powerful skill nor a more necessary one to master. And on the bottom of my email signature, I write on there, if conversational intelligence is not your first priority for engaging people when transforming leadership and operations management for a digital world, then everything else is at risk. And that's so true for authors as well. Understanding how to communicate open doors, having conversations about your book, why it's relevant to your market, what's in it for them, what action steps can they take, and what's the value for making their lives better, it comes through conversation, because everything happens through conversation. And that's how you build meaningful and lasting, sustainable relationships. They're going to want more from you and from your book.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
Wow. Well, my favorite quote is, whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. And I like that because that quote happens to be my own quote, but it's also one that has served me extremely well. And I have done remarkable things in my life. And if I'd not kept that quote in mind along the way, I would probably not have had the successes that I've had. So I think it's very important for our writers and our authors to remember what is it that they are vividly imagining and want from their book, and then ardently desire that and sincerely believe in that and enthusiastically act upon that quest. And it must inevitably come to pass if that's the case.
Well, Schuyler, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Well, I think the best way is to go to my website, schuylermorgan.com, and there they can contact me, or they can send just an email to me at schuylermorgan.com, and Schuyler is spelled SCHUYLER, Schuyler Morgan. Or certainly they can reach me on LinkedIn through LinkedIn, and that's Schuyler Morgan on LinkedIn.
Well, Schuyler,
those are probably the best two ways.
Thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Well, thank you, Paul, and thank you so much for your time.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.